What's going on, everybody? It's your neighborhood Spider-Man Pokemon trainer, Ryan from Vintage Indie. Before we go any further, if you haven't seen the first part of this series of the best and worst Pokemon of Generation 2, please go see that video. The link is in the description. Watch that before this. Now that we've gotten the worst part of Generation 2 out of the way, it's time to enjoy the greatness and some of the Pokemon that made Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal so special. Number 10 is one of my favorite starters, the first evolution, Totodile. Totodile, look at the scales. The buddings of Feraligatr and Croconaw, the red scales, the yellow vest, the scale, oh my gosh, he's like a little tiny T-Rex. Totodile is the Pokemon that I chose for my very first playthrough. I've always been like a water guy. I've always loved Squirtle. And so going to Totodile, he's kind of up there with Squirtle for me. At number 9, we have a very mysterious Pokemon, one that really doesn't appear or could appear in the entire game unless you catch his pre-evolution. Not to. I don't even know where you get him. But for me, I don't think I even got the little tiny bird that it starts out at. So I totally missed this Pokemon until the final Elite Four, which one of the Elite Four members has. I think like 2 of these. The calming yet like, what am I hiding under my wings? I shan't tell you. We've got 2 eyes. I don't know, maybe those are his real eyes. Maybe these are his fake eyes, you know? The coolest part is when he opens up his wings. Boom! Look at it. A whole freaking face, almost. Or I don't even know if those are real eyes or like tattoos or how does that work? Maybe he has 4 eyes. Wouldn't be surprised because he's a psychic Pokemon. At number 8, we have my favorite starter of the first evolution. Cyndaquil. Oh my gosh, this thing is so adorable and so cool at the same freaking time. He starts cute, right? He's just a little mouse guy and his tail is like flames, but I also fall in love with his cry and like in the actual show. I'll play a clip real quick. So adorable. At number 7, we have one of my favorite final evolutions. I didn't like any of the middle evolutions. That's why none of them are in this top 10. But we have 2 final evolutions in the top 10. One of them of which is Meganium, the final evolution of Chikorita, and then Bayleaf, and then Meganium. A whole freaking flower. Strong grass Pokemon, aesthetically pleasing. I actually like this one more than Venusaur. I think Venusaur is more just bulky and kind of almost derpy, whereas this one's very clean, sleek. You can tell that it's like one of those like brontosauruses or whatever, those things with like the really long necks. Like, that's cool. At number 6, we have the badass dog straight out of hell, Houndoom. This thing is so badass. We've got almost the serpent tail. Look at that thing's gonna murder you. I don't know what kind of dog it looks like, but oh, what is it called? I can see it in my brain, the ones that are black and brown. It's also sick because it's got the horns like a ram. It spits fire flame bars. I like so many from this generation, and so I put a tie at 5th place with all of the legendaries. The 3 dogs, which you see here, Suicune, Entei, and Raikou. This one of which is my favorite. God, I like them all 3. Like Saber-tooth Tiger, badass. Entei reminds me of Liam Neeson if he was a Pokemon. I don't know why, he just looks so majestic. Suicune's cool because it's got a whole like crystal. That's the crystal version, But we also have Ho-Oh and Lugia for the version exclusives of Gold and Silver. These things are absolute beauts. I think you can get both in each game. One like comes post-game, so if you had Gold, you could get Ho-Oh in the middle of the game, and then you could get Luigi. You can get Luigi in this game. Did you know that? Lugia is in the Whirl Islands, kind of part of that water, where Ho-Oh is like in a sacred tower that was once burned down. And there's an unconfirmed lore that Vaporeon, Jolteon, and Flareon died in that fire that burned the tower. And as a result, Ho-Oh created Raikou, Entei, and Suicune out of the dead or ghosts of those Pokemon, which would be dope. You have to catch them randomly. They're not in just a designated area in the game, unfortunately, whereas these guys are. So I had a personal attachment more so to these guys because I had caught them, but the other 3 legendaries I liked more so just because they had a cooler aesthetic. They just were harder to catch, and I never really played with them like on my teams. You have Scyther's Evolution, Scizor, or Scizor. Haha, play on words. Nice, Pokemon. This, oh my god. Like, he's all made out of metal, like steel, but he's a bug. I think he was actually also like pretty competitive. Like, he wasn't like a bad Pokemon like Beedrill was. It's like the Super Saiyan version of Scyther. I don't know, it's so cool. At number 3, we have a Pokemon that I actually have a stuffed animal of. It's Togepi. Oh my god, I love this guy so much. Oh, he's hungry.
Togepi, the egg Pokemon. It exhibits a low tolerance for hunger.
And my number 2 Pokemon from Generation 2 is the one, the only, badass, best final evolution, Typhlosion. I know all of my friends, everybody had a Typhlosion. Everybody picked Cyndaquil. Oh boy. Ooh, whoa. This was just like this in the previous generation, where people would pick Charizard, knowing they would still have to go up against Blastoise, the counterpart that was technically better than him. But you're like, I don't care, I have Charizard. Same thing here. Your rival's gonna get Feraligatr, but I got Typhlosion. This dude will probably make the water evaporate into the atmosphere. And sorry, Charlie, doesn't matter. I've got Typhlosion. And my number 1. Oh. I thought it was closed. My number 1 Pokemon in Generation 2 is Steelix. Is a Pokemon that was so ever evasive for me. Once again, couldn't play with him because you need to trade Onix with a metal coat, I think. We have this iron giant snake that makes Onix look like a string of pebbles. This is a man in the form of an iron snake. This Pokemon is 30 feet high. Yeah, 3 stories high. Good luck trying to put that in your apartment. And then 881 pounds of pure steel and rock. I remember you would fight Jasmine, who had one of these, and I remember seeing him for the first time and being like, what is this? They're just coming out of nowhere with the heat. You have Magneton and Magnemite, kind of just like technically steel Pokemon, but really electric. This is the only steel Pokemon for sure. He's the Pokemon that got away. It's one of the reasons why I love the new game so much is because I can actually catch this in the wild and play with Steelix. It's the first time in 20 years I've ever been able to really play with this Pokemon. Probably has a kind heart. You know how those go? The teddy bear effect, where they look like they're really strong, but they've really got a kind soul. I'm sure that's the case with Steelix too. He'll still try to give you a hug, even though he'll probably kill you because it's a giant monster Pokemon, but he's one of my favorites. Once again, another generation down. But until next time, it's been your boy, Ryan. Peace!